about working as a doctor, which is a job that I love. I work as a GP, as a family medicine doctor in the community. I'm sure you've been to the doctors when you're poorly or you need a checkup. So I'm going to talk about how to become a doctor, why to become a doctor, and answer some questions that I've been asked. So the first question I often get asked is why did I become a doctor? And I was always very interested in people and in science. I was really interested in how the human body worked, and I liked solving problems and puzzles about it, trying to work out if things didn't work properly. To become a doctor, you need to go to medical school, which is a special bit of a university where you learn all about the body and how it works and what can go wrong and what to do if it does go wrong. You learn about medications, you learn about operations and surgeries and other things that we can do to try and fix the problems that happen with the body. There are 33 medical schools in the UK, so they're all over the country. So there's lots of places you can choose to go to, and you do need to have an interest in science because a lot of it is science-based, but it's not entirely. And there are lots of other qualities and skills and interests that will end up making you a good doctor. So I have some questions. So let's see where we go with this. What are the best and the worst parts of your job? So the best parts of the job and the worst parts of the job are actually very similar. So the best parts are when you can help people, when you can solve the problem, when you can help make things better for them. And sometimes that's really simple, and sometimes it's very complicated and people are ill for a very long time. And that kind of is the worst part of the job as well, when you've tried really hard and you've done lots of things and we just can't find the answer, or we know the answer and we just can't get the person better. But then you continue working to make them feel better and to help out as much as you can. The next question is, why did you become a GP? There are so many different bits of medicine, of being a doctor, that are really, really interesting. And there are different areas that you can pick and you find the right bit that suits you. When you are training, when you're at medical school, you study with all the different types of doctors. You study with surgeons who do operations, you study with doctors in the hospital who work with skin or work with your insides or work with your eyes. And over time you work out what interests you the most, what fits you the most, and what works best for you. And I really liked working in the community, near people's homes, seeing different members of their family. So in my job, I would see a tiny little baby and their mum and their grandma, and you get to know who families are and how they work together. And I found that really, really nice. And when I did my training, it was the bit that suited me the most. Next question is, what is your day like? So my day, I come into work, into an office, and I spend some time looking at results to tests that we've ordered to try and solve some of the questions, some of the problems people might have. Or I read letters from their hospital doctors so I know more about what's been going on with them. And then we see patients and they come in and they tell me what's going on, and we see if we can work out a plan to see if we can find out the problem or make them better, or sometimes we just talk. So a lot of my job is just talking to people if they're not feeling brilliant. Hospital doctors' days are quite different, so they also have to look at results and read letters and write letters that I've sent to them, referring patients in. But they also look after people who are ill in hospital, so they normally would spend time going around talking to the people who have stayed in overnight and seeing if they've got better or worse or what needs to be done today. And then seeing new people as they come into hospital ill and what can they do to make them better. Do you do gross things every day? Not every day, no, but we do some gross stuff. And when you're doing it to help people, it doesn't feel as gross, and it's not as weird to be doing these things. The gross things I really don't like is to do with spots and boils and pus and Dr. Pimple Popper. I don't like that side of things, but sometimes we have to. Can you learn not to be squeamish? Yes, you can. I really, really, really don't like blood, and that's what I was quite scared of when I first started training to be a doctor at medical school, of how would I cope with blood and how would I cope with things that I found quite scary. And everybody around you is doing the same thing, so you have support from each other, and over time you see more of it and it becomes less scary, it becomes less unknown, and you get better at it. But also, I pick my job. I work as a GP, and we don't have to see that much blood. So I get to avoid it most of the time, which is good. Do you use a fake body to learn to do medical procedures? Yes, absolutely, yes you do. And sometimes it's a whole fake body that you can look at and learn from, and sometimes it's just a bit of a fake body. So if you need to learn how to look in the eye, you might have just an eyeball that you practice looking into, or if you need to learn to take blood, you have just an arm to practice that bit, which is quite interesting. You also do practice on real people, on patients who are kind enough when they're in hospital, or when they come to see the doctor, to let doctors that are training or students learn how to examine people, learn to ask the questions and work out what the problem is. So that's a very kind thing that those people let us do. And sometimes we practice on ourselves, on other students, to learn what should a normal heart sound like, what should lungs sound like. So yes, we use fake bodies, we use real bodies, we use real patients, and sometimes we use actors to learn how to do things. Can you be a mummy and a doctor? Absolutely, yes you can, definitely, good. Do you get more immune to illness when you are a doctor? Probably not, actually. Probably not, but you can learn to be healthier. You know what's good for you and what's bad for you, and you can hopefully not be as sick. But doctors do get ill, absolutely, and then they need to ask for help from other doctors to find the solution to the problem and help them get better themselves. So that's the end of the questions there. I really, really love my job. I would really encourage people who've got an interest in science or an interest in people to look into becoming a doctor. It's important to practice, to spend time with people, helping people, show that you're interested, learn more about the human body, how it works and how people work and how people interact with each other, because that's what we do. We work with people. I hope this has been helpful, and nice to see you all.